just there's nothing new here. The only difference is that the curtain's been lifted for everybody, and there were people that were willing to create their own narrative in the absence of fact. But it never made sense to me, to somebody that made this much money on MLMs and described his own experience in MLMs as not really MLMs, like, and did all this sort of like, this isn't a pyramid scheme, it's like an upward triangle. Like he did all the same dodging that tells me he doesn't think MLMs are faulty. And that's not all gamers. There are plenty of gamers that have tons of money, but there is a section of gaming that use this as, when I compare it to other hobbies that I have, hour of joy per dollar, gaming is relatively affordable. And when I look at even like my wife having an interest in sewing, or my friends that have an interest in things like triathlons, or, going and doing gravel races, or going camping, in even, fishing, my friends that are into fishing and golf, like those look like two incredibly expensive hobbies. Gaming is pretty cheap for what it is.
And it super depends on your expectation, right? Because if you're, let's say 11, you got no money, the amount of free-to-play options you have is insane. The amount of if you are not frustrated by microtransactions, for instance, your expectation for the amount of things you can do for free is insane.
We already had it as a part. Like I got it on the Xbox for Game Pass, about one copy on the Switch. I was like, all right, all in, where I'm $47 into this game. And the kids have already racked up hundreds and hundreds of hours over the course of the holidays. And I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I just think that somebody like Stephen Sharif has a very different view of what fair and unfair is. And that's fine. The world can be viewed through a lot of different lenses, but that means that you're setting up the gap between reality and expectation to be very, very far. And now the game is real. And there are a lot of people that have whiplash because they thought he was going to be.
Just make that very clear so that the people who can engage on that level and want to can do. But I think the other thing that shows is how much people want. I mean, I don't even know if it's just a savior, but I think the amount of people who really want a fair experience, right? And fair is a charged word.
Fair is an incredibly charged word. There are a lot of people that are not upset about the Brutus Swords.
No, not at all. In fact, they love it, right? But I think there's a lot of people who want an experience that everyone can meaningfully engage on. Now, that's hard, right? Because what happens when you've got money versus time, right? So if you're someone who can't make a bunch of money, but you do have more time, that also puts you in a primacy experience over someone who has a lot of money, but not a lot of time for that credit. I mean, I guess the thing to me is there's three possibilities there, right? Or a couple possibilities. One of which is you either have people who are maybe younger than us, or maybe even our age, who are just not as tapped in terms of watching these trends play out over and over, or having been a part of a project where that you've seen that happen before. So they're kind of like not, they've got blinders of just wanting the thing to be real already. I've definitely seen that happen. Even people I know who better than this. You should stop buying into not even hype train, but just stop thinking like that what you want to be real is real.